Go.
Alright.
Alexa, tell us about Castle Freak.
From Wikipedia.org. Castle Freak is a 1995 American direct-to-video horror/slasher film directed by Stuart Gordon.
Close enough?
Yeah. Yeah, he really didn't want to even touch Castle Freak.
Really?
No.
Huh.
No.
I know.
Band really didn't want to, throw a big budget in there, so.
Made sense. And this movie is very low budget.
Both
of them are. Actually, I think.
I didn't even find a budget for the next one.
For the remake?
No.
I didn't either, but you know what I did see? Full Moon Empire pictures.
Oh yeah?
In the opening credits, but nowhere else.
No. Anyways, I'm Mike.
I'm John. And
This
welcome
is
to Generation Wars.
Generation Wars for the Stuart Gordon Halloween Spooktacular.
Something like that.
And I don't know. We didn't have a name on it when we released it.
There is a name for it.
Is there?
But I don't remember what it is.
Did we put that on the BB's release or no? Did we?
Yeah, it's under
Okay.
the description.
Oh,
of the video.
okay. Yeah, I showed you I did not watch it yesterday. I was too busy watching Castle Freak when I got home.
I was too busy watching these Castle Freak movies, hating myself.
I mean, wanting to take as many showers as possible after that second one.
Well, this is fun because we're going to be seeing this same cast of actors for the remainder of this season, and
Excited.
we're also going to be the ones making you feel progressively more and more uncomfortable about sex for the next 3 weeks.
Yep. Lovely. Yay.
Because From Beyond does not get better.
It doesn't.
Oh, no.
Oh, lovely. Oh, son of a bitch.
No, From Beyond might be the worst.
Oh, is it?
As far
Okay.
as, sexual shit goes.
Okay.
I think it was once described as an orgy of sex and violence.
Very nice. That sounds fun.
It's a very bizarre film.
Okay.
That's very fun.
Okay. Cool.
And Reanimator is notorious for
Right.
weird sex stuff. So,
Right.
we got
Right.
this, which really, even the remake does weird sex stuff. So,
Yeah.
So everyone have fun with that for
Yeah.
the next 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Enjoy. Fun.
I said that sarcastically, but please tune in and watch our
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, we're putting a lot of work into our Halloween episodes.
Yeah. We're watching all these movies.
Yeah. Watching movies which I haven't seen.
You didn't see either of these?
No.
I didn't see either of these either.
No. I seen it was on Joe Bob, but I didn't watch it. It was on, I think, one of his first seasons.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But Castle Freak is a movie about... I don't remember how we format these, but...
Yeah, we got it right here. Sort of.
I think I do remember. Okay, so I think what we do is we go through a little bit of a plot synopsis,
Yeah.
but we only bring up points where they differ.
Okay.
Like we interject in the middle.
Yeah.
Because it is, it's basically the same story,
Yes. It differs.
but
It differs.
the same but different
Yeah.
in very different ways. Like this one, from what I found, this is not based on an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Okay. The original?
Yes.
Okay.
Originally, this is not based on a H.P. Lovecraft story. The remake is, because I texted you, I think 15 minutes into the movie, where which I think you were already asleep at that point.
I was definitely.
But I was just like, I'm
that.
pretty sure this is just the Dunwich Horror.
Right.
Which is a story about a family in a small town called Dunwich.
Okay.
And basically, people are like, man, they're weird, and all of our cows keep disappearing, which is a thing that they bring up in that movie.
Okay.
Where they're like, all of our cattle are being eaten alive.
Nice. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where it's basically like all this secret kind of revolving. They know there's a monster inside of a barn.
Okay.
But there's also, like, this weird child who grew up very fast. Like, he grew up, I think he's technically 10 years old, but he looks like he's in his 40s or something like that.
And now this is the book we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
The classic H.P. Lovecraft novella.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a child, and then what happens then?
They talk about how he's always, like, bundled up in all sorts of clothing because and he's looking for missing pages from the Necronomicon.
Okay.
Which is the book.
Yes.
In the movie.
Yeah.
And at the end, it turns out, spoiler alert for a book that's over 100 years old. It turns out that he is a son of Yog-Sothoth.
Yeah.
Which is
in this
movie.
Is
Spoiler
in
alerts
2020.
for these movies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
They talk about how dogs hate him, and he's surrounded by flies all the time.
Okay.
So I think that's what the flies in that movie were.
Okay.
And there weren't really any dogs, but you know.
Okay.
But at the end, he gets mauled by dogs.
Okay.
And they see that, like, all the body parts that he had covered up were not human body parts.
Okay.
So since she's supposed to be like a daughter of Yog-Sothoth in the movie,
right?
Which Yog-Sothoth, his whole thing is he's the guardian of the gate.
Okay.
That can allow the old ones through.
Okay. The elder gods.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the elder gods? The demons?
They're not. They're like space aliens or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Alright.
It sounds like I know a lot about Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. Alright. Okay.
I've read a couple.
Okay.
But I just know the Dunwich Horror because it's like they made a really famous movie out of it and stuff.
Alright. Cool.
It's a. I didn't flip that.
It's okay. Do you want to flip that, Johnny?
Nah.
Yeah, we should be fine. Hopefully.
But anyway, this movie is complicated.
It is.
Not really.
The first one or the second one?
The second one's a lot more complicated because, honestly, I feel like if I didn't know anything about the Cthulhu mythos, I might have had no idea what the fuck was happening in that movie.
Right.
Wait, you don't know anything about the
I
Cthulhu
don't.
mythos. Did you understand that movie?
Which one? The second one?
Yeah.
No! I mean, I thought it was just fucking batshit crazy, but...
I just, like, came back to my phone and just saw, this is terrible.
I think I messaged you, this is almost unwatchable.
Yeah. Well, you sent, like, Jeffrey Combs is such an asshole, this movie is almost unwatchable. And then, like, you sent me another text. I had that text and then right underneath it was like, this 2020 movie is unwatchable.
And it was. It was very bad. It was not good.
I would say these movies are difficult to watch for very different reasons.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Alright. Mike, tell us a little bit about the original Castle Freak, now that I've gone on my Cthulhu rant. I just felt like I should talk about Cthulhu a little bit, because one of the most popular series I did on our channel was when we played through Call of Cthulhu.
Yes. Yeah. We gotta start that Twitch back up.
I will. I haven't been able to do Total War because the computer acts up.
Right.
But
in time.
I'll probably be doing some more Skyrim or something.
Yeah,
I just bought Dead Rising for PS4.
We should do something horror since it's spoopy month.
Oh, we should. I have a few. Yeah. We have Until Dawn. We have White Day. We got
White Day.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. It's a horror game I bought.
Try it.
Layers of Fear.
Dead by
Amnesia. I want to do more Dead by Daylight. It just makes me angry at everyone.
Yeah, I know.
It would probably be better if I had, like, everyone together all playing Survivor at the same time. That might be fun,
Right.
But...
Right. Okay, so, Susan, who's played by Barbara Crampton, she is pretty much inherited a castle in Italy.
Jeffrey Combs inherited.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's for the second one. That's right.
Yeah, and the second one,
Yeah,
Rebecca.
the second one. Yeah, John.
John inherits the
Yeah,
castle.
John inherits the castle.
John Riley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. He inherits the castle.
The Dorsinio estate. The Castle Dorsinio?
Yes.
It's an Italian castle
Yes.
that looks like Batcalat sets.
It looks very, very cheap.
It's all made of paper mache.
Yeah. So they obviously move everything over to Italy, and he wants to get rid of everything. So he wants to sell it.
Which
sure,
I could totally understand this. Like,
right.
Actually, Castle Dorsinio is like, it looks a lot more livable than Castle Whately or whatever the one from the second movie is. Because like,
that second one looks literally.
The castle in the second one, it looks like everything is just outside, and it's just like, yes, I may be sleeping, but the elements are right there.
Yes, and
like
it's still light outside.
With all your windows open all the time.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's nighttime. No, it's clearly light.
This movie has trouble with time.
Right. That second one is much worse.
Well, the second movie has trouble with time because at no point did I understand like how far after events anything was.
No idea.
This one, it specifically establishes this has taken place 9 months after he killed his son and blinded his daughter in a drunk driving accident.
JJ or AJ? JJ, that's it. Okay.
Which I thought was fun because the Castle Freak's name is Giorgio, and then they're looking at a picture of him and it's like, that's JJ. They sound similar. I don't know if it was on purpose or not.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so Jeffrey Combs is kind of a douche.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs is, but he's like trying to be better. Like he's trying to be a good guy. He's like, I haven't drank or anything in 9 months, and I'm doing my best. And to be fair, like he does break down and start drinking.
He does.
But it's literally after his wife says, "I wish you died."
Pretty much.
And
I also think his character, you can see how flawed he is when he's reading that book.
Yeah.
And his blind daughter has no idea where she's going, and then she's just like gone.
I thought so. One of the things I thought was interesting about this movie is it kind of like shows, because he is not a doting parent. He is like, she understands things and she can get around on her own. She's like...
Yeah, but it's a fucking castle!
It is a fucking castle. But she navigates the stairs and everything well. In fact, it seems like the only time she ends up falling down is on a flat surface.
Right.
And she falls down and just starts rolling around on the ground all over.
Just flailing around.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a ramp or something. I don't know. But
I just found that funny. It's like, oh, she's blind and she has no idea where she's going.
To be fair, she's the one who wanders off.
She did.
Like, she was sitting on a bed and she was like, I'm bored, I'm leaving.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like she wandered off. She was just like, I'm going exploring. Which is, it's a castle, of course.
I know, but why would you let your blind daughter do that?
Well, he didn't.
I know.
He was paying attention to a book.
Yeah.
He wasn't paying attention, but the mother is overly doting, and, like, even to the point where the daughter is like, I have to live with this. Like, I can't have you coddling me all the time.
Right.
Which is fair.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So that's basically kind of like the plot in terms of...
Because, like, she fell and scraped her knee, and her mom acted like someone killed her.
Right.
Like, it was fucked up.
Right.
And even he was like, he panicked about it, but he wasn't like, oh my god, are you okay? He was like, I understand you're okay, but like, you hurt yourself, are you fine? All right.
And we should open how this movie actually starts. You kind of have like that older lady whipping
both of these
Giorgio.
movies start weird.
Uh-huh.
Giorgio's getting beaten.
Right.
You feel bad for Giorgio
Right.
in this first movie, and you
Right.
don't in the remake.
No, because that doesn't even have a name in the remake.
No, she doesn't.
No, she's called the Monster.
Is she credited as the monster?
Yes. Yeah.
The daughter of Yog-Sothoth.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So that's basically it. Starts with she's beating up Giorgio with that whip.
Oh yeah, she's just beating the shit out of him.
Right.
It has metal spikes on it in the first one.
It does.
The original.
It's kind of crazy.
It's like fucked up, and it makes like clanking sounds.
Right.
Because I love like. I actually love that scene with him and his daughter.
Yeah.
Because I think like he actually shows chemistry with his daughter.
Yeah.
Like he's doing like fun games with her where he's like, now if you were a duchess, where would you hide your jewelry?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, maybe under the bed. And he's like, well, let's check under the bed.
Right.
And like
Right.
looks under the bed and then finds like just that whip with all the things. She's like, what is it? And he's like, nothing, just weird things.
And that's so great with Jeffrey Combs too.
Oh, Jeffrey Combs is so good in everything he's in. Like I love Jeffrey Combs.
Right.
There have been times in the past where we have specifically picked movies for movie night because Jeffrey Combs was in them.
Yeah.
What
was that one movie that we watched? The
is it Would You Rather?
Yes,
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Where he plays like the villain, like a cartoonish villain, and he's so good at playing it.
Yeah, so that's kind of basically the plot. I mean, it just obviously goes through, the degradation of, John's character, and he brings home a prostitute, and Giorgio pretty much eats her nipple, and
well, Giorgio, I thought this was interesting.
Okay.
Because it's like Giorgio sees them have sex, and then in the scene where Giorgio kidnaps her, you see him imitating what he saw.
Yeah.
But like in a hyper violent way.
Right.
Where it seems like Giorgio, more than being like a vicious monster, like just doesn't understand things.
No, I mean he's probably slow. I mean.
Well, I would like not naturally slow.
No.
Probably just like.
Demonically slow.
Well, basically what we find out is that the castle freak, Giorgio, was locked what's the Duchess's name? What was her name? I don't know. The Duchess of the castle, who died.
Right, it doesn't matter.
Who was Giorgio's mom.
Right.
It turns out that her husband was an American soldier who left her.
Yes.
Later on, we find out he left her for her sister and moved to America with her sister.
With what the lawyer calls John the Bastard.
John the Bastard.
Yes.
Yep.
Because his sister is actually the prostitute.
What?
Yes.
Whose sister?
The lawyer's sister is the prostitute.
No, the lawyer's sister is Agnese, the cook lady.
Oh, I thought she was the prostitute.
No.
Oh. See that?
Because remember, that was at the very beginning where he's like, "This is my sister."
Oh, that's right.
She's the caretaker here.
That's right. Okay. I didn't know that was the same guy. I didn't know that was the same lawyer.
The prostitute lady.
Yes.
She is the mother of the police officer with the unibrows child.
Oh.
And one of my favorite scenes in that is
Silvana. That's her name, Silvana.
Yeah, Silvana is police officer's kid's mom. But one of my favorite things is where they're like, they say like nobody, like, she's had sex with everyone in town, but everyone knows that her son is his.
Okay.
And I was like, is that because he has like this huge fucking unibrow?
Right. Like Anthony Davis out there.
Yeah. Like, is it because of his unibrow? Does the kid have a big unibrow too? Like, I see, it must be his because of the unibrow.
Right. See, that's the thing about this. It gets fun.
Well, that's...
Just leave it be. Leave it be.
If the audio doesn't work, it doesn't work.
No, I mean, we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our prison sounds. They're very echoey prison
What I like is
sounds.
that one's quiet. This one echoes like fucking crazy in this room.
I mean, I should put like soundboards on the side.
You know, you could hang up some egg cartons and whatnot.
I guess. Sure. Okay.
That's a thing.
Yeah, I know it is. Sure.
Just hang them up on the ceiling.
Just fucking have the landlord come in and there's just nothing but egg cartons on the walls. I think you
it's
have
like a horror movie.
Yeah, I think you have to vacate your lease, Mike. Well, John, I'm gonna have to crash on the couch. I'm technically homeless. Merry Christmas.
You come in, and just all of the walls are coated in eggshells.
Not one fucking bed on except the floors. It's just covered in egg cartons. Oh, that'd be great.
Like, what you doing, Mike? And just like, oh, it's just for better sound.
Yeah, I mean, I do work at home, so I mean, it has to illuminate. So. Imagine going to a meeting with nothing but like a wall with eggs, just egg cartons everywhere, dude. I'm sorry, I have to go. I would take one peek. I gotta get out of here. I'm going to get murdered. But anyways, back to Castle Freak. I do have some trivia.
Oh.
Yes. If that castle was actually owned by Charles Band.
That doesn't surprise me that he owns a fucking castle.
Right. And it was direct to video. It was supposed to be slotted against, I don't remember which Halloween that was in 94 or 95. But it was supposed to go against that in theaters, but they obviously didn't have a big budget, so they released it direct to video.
Alright.
So I think that was either Halloween 5 or one of those cursed ones. Michael Myers.
They were slotted to go up against Halloween 5.
And that's pretty much the only. I mean, there isn't much.
Other than, like, I want to say I don't know if Barbara Crampton was, but if I remember right, Jeffrey Combs and Stuart Gordon are, like, old school friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why he's always casted.
Yeah.
So.
Like, he's even in that Pit and the Pendulum movie.
And then for ratings, it has a 5.9 IMDb, 57 by critics, and 44 by users on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't find a Metacritic for this one.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I feel like nobody uses Metacritic.
Not for these smaller movies.
No.
But yeah, continue on to the plot.
Yeah.
So we obviously have Sylvana, and she comes over, and Jeffrey Combs has the quote, "I didn't kill her, I fucked her."
Jeffrey Combs is so...
He's a maniac. So obviously Sylvana is, nipple bitten off by Giorgio.
Yeah.
And then the cop, Fredo, or what is his name?
Fredo. Did they ever say what his name is?
No, something with an F though.
Fratelli. There we go.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, but
my
obviously...
favorite part is when he's like, "We'll release you when you tell us the answers we want to hear. Why did you kill Sylvana?" And he's just like, "I didn't."
And then he hits
He
him.
beats the shit out of him with a fucking billy club.
Right? Like, oh, I guess that's how things work in Italy.
That he pulls it out of a fucking desk.
Yeah, why was that there?
I mean, what we've learned from this last Italian election is that Italians are fascists.
Yeah,
so
they really are.
And like, this is the 90s, right? So like, it's only like
50 years?
50 years removed from fascism.
Right.
And like, as much as people hated Mussolini, there were a lot of people who were really down still with Mussolini's politics.
Sure.
They just didn't like him.
Right.
Which is one of the things we see in the most recent Italian election.
Yes.
Also, fuck you, Hillary Clinton, because, god damn it, you don't get to be like, hey, I know they elected a fascist, but at least she's a woman.
Right. It doesn't help.
No, that's no better.
Help.
Guess what? If your fascist is a woman, that doesn't make it better.
Right. Exactly.
It just makes it dumber.
Yes, it does. Anyways,
not because she's a woman, but
right.
because it's dumb for a woman to be fascist.
Yeah. And so the cop comes over, Fratelli, and he accuses John of murder. So he takes him away, and then he beats him with a billy club, and then. Obviously,
he doesn't beat him. He hits him once, but he hits him so fucking hard that it busts his skull open and knocks him out.
Right. Well, Giorgio, going away from that, but Giorgio really likes Rachel. I think her name is, right?
Rebecca. Because it's the same character in both movies.
Yeah, Rebecca. And she's blind, so she can't tell, but he takes her and he puts her in that crypt or whatever that is. And then
not the crypt, but like his little
his little
cage,
dungeon.
His dungeon where he was locked and beaten and fed moldy bread.
Right, and then Barbara Crampton tries to stop him. He hits her, and then Barbara Crampton says, "Take me," and she undoes her blouse
and then stabs him,
and then somewhat her bra, and then stabs him in the back.
This is
nothing really ever stops.
I think this is the only Stuart Gordon movie I've ever seen where Barbara Crampton didn't show her boobs.
Right. Yeah. That was a shame.
Actually, it might be the only Barbara Crampton movie I've seen where that didn't happen.
Even when she was older in that old ass one.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What was that movie?
I don't know. They were like cultists.
Yeah.
Remember? I like that one.
That was a good movie. Barbara Crampton's just good and everything.
Yeah, she's very good. And
for someone who apparently started her career on Days of Our Lives. Yeah. A show that just got canceled.
Did it?
Technically.
Oh, that's a shame.
It didn't get canceled. It got taken down from cable.
Oh, okay. So it's on like Paramount or something?
It's now on Peacock.
Oh, Peacock? Okay.
It's a Peacock exclusive.
Okay, so it's NBC? Okay.
Which is sad because I think that show was going for like 60 years.
Long fucking time.
I have no idea what that show is about. All I know is I saw a trailer for it, and in the trailer, someone's eyes started glowing green, and they tried to kill somebody. I have no idea what this show is about.
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought it was just like a weird romance drama thing, but apparently it might also have vampires.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sweet. I want to watch a soap that has fucking vampires in it.
Dark Shadows. That's what that was.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever watch the movie? No?
Oh wait, the movie for the FX show?
No.
Oh, what's
Dark
that?
Shadows, the movie with Johnny Depp.
Oh no, I never did. No.
Well, originally it was like not a sitcom, like a daytime soap from the 60s.
Oh, okay.
It's not great.
No.
I mean, it's fine.
It's older.
If you want to watch a soap opera from the 60s, it's.
I probably don't.
If you want to watch a black and white soap opera, it's probably one of the better choices.
Okay. Anyways, so Barbara Susan stabs Giorgio.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously that stops him for the time being, and then he comes after her again.
Yeah.
And then John hits Fratelli in the head.
Does he?
Yeah.
No, other way around. Right?
No. John hits him in the head. Remember when he was coming out of the bathroom or something? Then he escapes.
No, I don't remember that part. I must have missed it.
Yeah. But I take that back. Before that
makes sense though, because he later on ends up at the castle. So.
Right. But before that, we should talk about the two useless cops that are in the castle.
They're there to pad body counts.
Yes. And that was so great when that guy gets pulled up by that chain.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was cool.
Yeah, and then the other fat guy was sleeping, and then he was waking up, and then Giorgio eats out his eyeball.
Yeah. Also, can we say that Giorgio kills Sylvana by eating her alive?
Yes, that was really cool. Really cool.
That was, I mean, it was gross, it was sexually violent, but like,
well, not only that, but
was it a fun special effect that we kept seeing.
But remember, he like beats her at the, later, he like smashes her head open.
I thought that was the other Agnese, because when the cops show up, she's alive still.
That could be.
But they have her sitting there, and then Agnese is sitting there.
Okay.
And Agnese is like, her head is just fucking smashed.
And they actually, I forgot to write this down, they actually used brain matter for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. Fucking gem, Stuart Gordon, dude.
How do you even find that?
I don't know.
It probably wasn't human.
No.
It was like cows.
Yeah, something like
Cow
that.
brains are pretty big, so I imagine that would be a good substitute.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty awesome, though.
You know, when you have nothing else...
Fucking A, you got a limited budget. Fucking A.
When you're like, what should we use for brains? I guess it makes sense for your initial reaction to be like, why don't we just go buy some brains? Like,
imagine going to like a butcher. Can I have some brains, please?
You know, it was probably easier to get a hold of back then.
I would imagine.
Yeah, now with like mad cow and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
it'd be impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. So John escapes, and then John, he gets his ass beat by Giorgio, and then he takes it up to the roof, and then he sacrifices himself.
He sacrifices himself and does the thing that his wife said that she wishes he would do, which is dies.
He died, and also Giorgio dies.
But at the end, when he's dying, he tells his wife he's sorry, and she says she loves him.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I like this little redemption arc that he gets.
Yes. And he should get it.
Yeah.
He should get it.
Because, like, they very much established that while he's a flawed character, he's not a bad character.
No. No, I mean, in the beginning, that's when I sent you that message. That he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But he redeems himself.
He does.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I like, is that they go out of their way to show him being, like, a really nice dad to, like, his daughter.
Right.
And showing that he's there for his family.
Yeah.
But his wife just can't get over that hurdle of forgiving him.
Sure.
Which is understandable.
Right.
But what, so some of my favorite scenes in this movie, though, are, one of them for sure is the scene where he's like, no, see, Giorgio is actually alive still, and he's like breaking open the coffin.
Yes.
And he's like, look, it's just filled with rocks, and nobody gives a fuck.
They have no idea what he's talking about.
Well, they understand, and they're just like, who cares?
Right.
We're arresting you.
Right. And that's when they find the bodies.
But it kind of made me think, like, do they know? Because they talk about how they're screaming from the castle all the time.
Right.
So if they're like, oh yeah, they're screaming from the castle all the time at night. It's haunted and shit.
Right.
And like, also, with how much Giorgio is screaming constantly in this movie and how much echoey everything is, I'm like, man, they must have heard that, right? No? Okay.
Right.
But they can hear him screaming at night.
I know. I don't get it. What are some others?
There was another one that I thought was fun.
Okay.
But I can't remember what it was.
Okay. That's fine.
Oh! I remember what it was. It was like when they find the bodies and like one of them is the lawyer's sister, right. And the cop is just like, he's like, I I would save anything you have to say for your lawyer. And then the lawyer starts choking him.
Right. I thought that was
so
good too.
fucking good.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Should we move on to a little bit about Castle Freak 2020?
We sure can.
Because, like, Castle Freak 2020 is a...
Yeah, that'll take us like 10 minutes to talk about.
Alright. We talked a lot about what Castle Freak 2020 is about already. Where it turns out that, well, okay, instead of John is still in this, but yes. John is not Rebecca's dad. John is Rebecca's boyfriend instead.
John is a horrible actor.
John is a monster in this one.
He's a horrible actor.
No, the professor is a horrible actor. And based on a post-credit sequence that we see, it seems like they're setting him up to be a main character in a series.
Why?
So,
my God, don't!
Which, honestly, if they made more movies in this series, sure, I'd fucking watch them. I don't care.
God.
I don't know why I'm down to watch, I'm down to watch remakes of Reanimator. I love the short story. I love the movie.
Right.
I'm just down to watch remakes of Reanimator because we saw the one that they have on New Moon Features, and I was immediately like, "Oh, I want to see that." And you're like, "Why? Reanimator exists. It's the best one." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like, we could watch this."
Yeah. Sure. One of these days.
What is that one called?
I don't remember.
Honestly, we probably should have done like a Gen Wars for that.
Oh, no.
We'll see. Maybe down the road.
Maybe. I mean, we'll cover it.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll do a Gen Wars on it.
We'll cover it, and we'll do a B-Views on it, and then we'll do a Gen Wars on it.
I know you're going to get a B-Views, but you're going to get another one! No.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we still get to release Cheap Rent, so...
Cheap Rent? Next week? No, it's not.
No. This is Stuart Gordon Spooktacular month. So
yeah.
That'll be in November.
No, next week is From Beyond.
Yes.
Well, technically, next week is like right now. Next week is.
Yeah, From Beyond.
No.
Yeah, From Beyond is week 4.
Well, yeah, but I mean, right now.
Next week is Dolls. I'm way too fucking confused about the timeline. It's just like this movie. I'm way too confused with this timeline.
I wasn't confused at any point by this movie, and like I did one of the classic things where I called what the movie was like 15 minutes in.
Sure.
But I called it. I made sure to call it when I texted you because I was like, that way I could be like, all right, I called it.
Right.
Or I made a call at least, and I called it and I was correct.
You were.
So
you usually are.
Which is, I don't even understand how that works.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not even going to begin to even think about how that works. That is way too much of a mindfuck.
I think I'm just good at picking up on like context clues.
You always have been.
Like just good at picking
up.
And
that right there makes it a hard fucking watch with you at times because it's like, well, I guess John already knows about it. Well, I'm dumb enough and I don't.
Like when you were like, I have no idea what this Mother movie was about. I'm like, it's just the Bible.
I would have never known that. I really don't know that well. So. Anyways, talking about this pile, let's get it over with.
I didn't hate this movie.
I felt so grody watching this film.
I felt grody watching the first one too, though.
I know. It was grainy and gritty, that first one. It was.
So like,
it was because it had no budget, John.
I know. This one wasn't grainy or anything.
No, it was bad. It felt like one of those really cheap Full Moon Features movies. It felt like a 50-foot. I think that's a 50-foot cam girl feel. It
didn't have that feel to it, but it had like 2 steps above that.
I don't know.
It did.
It just had that B movie
It wasn't shot on film.
Right, but it had that big B movie feel.
Yeah.
And not a fun B movie feel.
No. The only person I found fun, even though he was really bad, was the professor.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they were doing stuff with his character. And, like, at one point I was just like, oh, man, is he a secret cultist? Because he seems to know an awful lot about this Necronomicon stuff. And sure fucking enough.
He was.
I don't know if he was a secret cultist all along.
I don't think so.
Or if he was just like
my question is, with all these drug addicts and dope heads...
all these drug addicts.
How would he know them? Honestly.
He was drinking with them at the beginning, so I think he just, like, showed up to party with the cool kids or whatever.
Okay.
And the cool kids were just like, whoa, this guy knows about stuff, and, like, trips us out.
Well, even John said that before when they were talking about the book. He goes, well, the professor's coming, so...
Yeah. And, like, at the beginning... When we first see them, they're kind of introduced the characters. We have the black guy, and his whole thing is he likes to drink Crown Royal. Yeah. And Chuck, who is...
Oh, is that his name, the native guy?
Is he native?
Yes.
I thought it was just a white dude.
No, he's native. I swear to God, I know the professor is a horrible actor, but I don't think I've seen maybe a worse actor than that native
I thought... That might have been the same actor who played Argyle in Stranger Things.
It was not.
Then... No, I mean at the beginning of it, because it was like...
Oh, it did!
Everything
it very much did!
Like, everything was dark and weird looking at the beginning, and then, like, later on when they're in the castle and everything was, like, brighter, I was like, oh, that's not him.
Right. It was not.
Yeah.
It was not.
But for a second I was like,
He is, honest to goodness, one of the worst actors I've ever seen. He made me worse than Neil Breen.
No.
or Tommy Wiseau.
All I can think of that Chuck knows is that he's really into, like, reptilian conspiracy theories.
Yes, the lizard people.
And is really into shoving drugs in his ass to smuggle them into Albania.
Yes.
Because he seemed way too excited about how he smuggled cocaine up his ass.
Yes, real nice.
Also, this movie takes place in Albania, which is weird.
Right. And I even wrote that down. It takes place in Albania besides Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, alright. Also, this castle looks like it might just be in a neighborhood, which is weird. Because, like,
I could not even tell where the castle was located.
The castle has, like, a driveway that leads out into, like, a suburb.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I don't know. You can't tell. Because it's a bad movie. It is a bad movie.
Well, this movie is produced by Barbara Crampton.
Yes, and it has no critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and it has 23% by users, and IMDb, 4.2. Woo, that's low.
Yeah, that is low.
Ooh, that is low. That may be lower than Open House.
Open House has a higher review on IMDb than it should. I think it had like 5.1, and I was like, these people are idiots.
Yeah, so I couldn't find the budget either. And
it's a Shudder.
Right.
I think
Fangoria.
It's a Fangoria and Shudder movie. Yeah.
And I'll just throw in a few little trivias. Rebecca knocks over a statue of Cthulhu.
Yes.
Yeah. And then John takes a bottle of Casa Giorgio Orsino, which is the name of the freak in the OG. Yeah. That's all they had on IMDb about the trivia.
Maybe it's just because I recently saw the movie Smile, but I just got nervous every time someone had a bottle of wine in their hand because I just kept being like, they're gonna fucking drop that. There is an ongoing joke in the movie Smile where, like, every time someone has a glass in their hand, they end up dropping the glass and it breaks on the ground.
Okay.
And we saw that movie, and then I watched these two movies last night. I was just so anxious every time someone had glass in their hand.
Oh boy.
Because I think there are 3 points in Smile where she drops a glass.
We do not want to talk
about
Smile.
I know. I'm just saying this thing. I think there are 3 points in the movie where she has a glass and she drops it and it shatters on the ground.
Okay.
And, it started like this weird trauma response almost, where you're just like, someone has a glass in their hand, and you're like, oh my god, that glass is gonna fucking break. But I kept, because then, like, the first thing we see in the original Castle Freak, where he holds glass, he breaks a bottle in his hand and cuts himself.
He does.
And the whole time I was just thinking, the whole time during that movie I was thinking, like, fuck man, they're inventorying stuff to sell. You know what you really don't want to fuck with is that wine, because each bottle of that wine probably costs like $500.
Oh yeah.
Like,
if not more.
Yeah, you might have $1 million in wine in that basement, so don't fucking touch that.
Right.
And then he's down there drinking it and shit, and I was like,
fuck
man.
you, John.
Also, I think he breaks every wine bottle in that movie.
He does.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I was getting anxious because of all the broken glass everywhere.
Okay.
They didn't do it in the remake very much, but between Smile and then Castle Freak, where they broke all the wine bottles in Castle Freak, I was just like, fucking glass everywhere.
And so, going back to Castle Freak 2020, Rebecca is blinded because John is an addict, and he was higher than a kite, and then he drives off a cliff/hill, and then all of a sudden she is blinded.
Also, they change alcoholism to, like, drugs in this one. Also, I have to say that the car wreck in the remake looked better than the car wreck in the sequel or the original, because in the original, I swear to God, they hit a tree going like 30 miles per hour, and somehow a kid was thrown out of a windshield and someone went blind. Right. Because I think they pull up like, ooh, and I was like, man, the other day I hit a deer going faster than that. And it did no damage to my car. None.
And so, talking about the Necronomicon, that's about it.
Yog-Sothoth. That was the moment when I was like, holy fuck, I think this is just the Dunwich Horror. Was when she has, like, because she has vision throughout it, because that's a big thing in Cthulhu mythos, is people have visions and hallucinations, because it's all about madness and things like that. Because one of the big things is, like, in Lovecraftian horror is that people see things that are so horrific that they lose their minds. But Yog-Sothoth is important in the Cthulhu mythos specifically because he's the gate deity. So, like, he controls the gate where the gods can come through. And that's kind of what we see at the very end. Is like the portal, and you see Yog-Sothoth in the sky. And that's what Yog-Sothoth is supposed to look like. It's just like a bunch of writhing tentacles and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, the Cthulhu mythos has really cool imagery. And it's got so much fucking racism in it. H.P. Lovecraft did not like people of color. In fact, he really kind of hated anything that wasn't just the inside of his house in Providence, Rhode Island. He was kind of terrified of everything in the outside world. Which is why, like, his horror is all, like, existential and everything, because he's just like, everything is a monster! It's really easy to make everything scary when everything is scary to you. But I picked up on it because of, like, that scene where it pops up and it's like they're chanting, I think, Yog-Sothoth is the gate, Yog-Sothoth controls the gate, and I was just like, holy fuck, is this, like, just Dunwich Horror? But, like, Castle Freak? And it kind of is. And I was like, alright, I'm down for this is cool. I mean, it's not like... I thought the Freak looked a little cooler in her, like... her... when she was wrapped up and stuff. That was a really cool look, and then after she took it all off, it was dumb.
It was not.
At least the face part. Like, I thought the face with, like, the crazy hole and shit, that was cool. And then... I mean, the giant, like, tight vagina that shot.
I thought that
tentacles
that's
out of
why that's why I'm gonna mention that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. Is that sex scene?
I felt so filthy afterwards. You should get that babe drug whore who's screwing him. Shelly.
Shelly's the worst.
Shelly is horrible.
Like, her whole character is just, John is the best and I want to fuck John.
Right.
And I hate her because she's blind and weird.
Right. And then so she dies, and then
very sudden.
The monster sibling of Rachel or Rebecca.
Yeah, that's a twist.
Yeah.
So spoiler.
Yeah, who cares? We just talked about the end.
I like the part where the eyeball comes out of her vagina. That was fun.
That was cool. And then, so obviously he's screwing Shelly.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh well, I guess I'm done. And then here comes the sibling, and then he's like, oh well, I guess we're gonna go again.
Well, they didn't finish. I didn't think, but I don't remember.
I don't know. He had her panties over his head, so he couldn't see.
Yeah. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't.
I thought I was like, oh my god, she's gonna fuck him, isn't she? And she did. And she did.
Yep.
And so going back with John, you can tell he's kind of a scumbag. Obviously, in the beginning,
kind of.
I mean, in the beginning, he's a druggie, but obviously you can tell he's trying to do the same thing that Jeffrey Combs did.
Well.
But then you can
seems like he's trying.
He's trying.
But it turns out he's not.
No.
Secretly, he's not.
No, and that's what I was getting to. He was lying to her about the dress color.
And everything.
That's when you can see, obviously, things are coming forward.
He orders drugs to the house when she promises.
Yes.
He promises her that there won't be drugs or alcohol in the house. And
what was with that, dude?
What do you mean?
He gets this doctor, and the doctor's like, I'm just gonna shoot up heroin down here.
That was the best. He's like, my mom's living with me, and she's very sick, so I can't shoot up heroin at home. So let me shoot up heroin here. And he's
I want to do it in your castle.
And he's like, dude, no, get the fuck out of here. And the guy pulls a gun on him, and then he's like, fine, whatever, shoot up heroin in the fucking castle.
Right.
And then he ends up dying because of the...
I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I think that was cool.
Yeah. I thought it was a fun character. I wish he didn't immediately die.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it kind of follows the same way where some guy was beating her, the sibling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like that same thing that, with,
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. What are some of your favorite scenes? Because plot's done.
Fine.
I mean, it's pretty much done.
Honestly, I kind of was cold on this movie most of the way through.
Yeah.
But, when it started getting into more of the Cthulhu stuff...
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of, H.P. Lovecraft or Cthulhu Mythos stuff.
Right.
But, I started seeing a lot of the imagery they were using, and, what it was looking like, and I just started being like, I would watch more by these people, sure. And then,
Unbelievable.
My favorite part of it is the end credit scene.
Oh, yes, with Herbert West.
And it shows him...
I love how they don't even show him.
The professor. Yeah, because they're teasing for a sequel.
Damn it!
They want to do Reanimator, but in this universe. And I was like, oh, that's fun. The idea of tying it in.
Sure. Sure.
You're like, I'd just be interested to see what they would do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the acting would be bad.
It would be a very bad movie.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why? Because the professor is in it.
Because the professor is probably the main character. But we get to see her vagina tentacle come out and wrap around the professor and show him the truth and show him Yog-Sothoth.
Yes. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think I rewatched that because I was like, what the fuck just happened here?
Well, because he was like, I want to see more.
Right.
And she was just like, yes! I guess.
Sure.
But the Cthulhu mythos has always been slightly confusing to me because they imply the entrance into the world of several massive deities.
Okay.
but like it never seems to massively affect the world on a global scale.
Okay.
And that's kind of like what we see with that end credits sequence.
Right.
Is what you see at the end of that is cataclysmic. You see Yog-Sothoth coming through the portal, and in the sense that the sisters are the portal, and it's coming out of their vaginas.
Right.
At the end of the movie.
Right.
And then we see the professor returning to Miskatonic University, and who I can only assume is the dean, probably.
I would imagine.
And he's talking to Herbert West when he's there, and Herbert West has the vial.
And how would the professor know who Herbert West was at that point?
What do you mean? Oh, I assume they were going to college together.
Okay.
Because they make a point of saying the professor is at the college.
Okay.
And at one point he's wearing a Miskatonic University shirt, and I was like, oh, well, he probably goes to Miskatonic University.
Okay.
But another thing that I noticed at the very beginning is when they're driving, and this is the other thing that made me be like, is this in the Cthulhu mythos? Okay. This is the first clue I had.
Okay.
Was when they were driving, there was a sign for Dunwich, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, Dunwich? That's a Cthulhu thing.
Okay.
That's a Lovecraft thing.
Right.
And like, if I'd seen Miskatonic University, I would have been like, that's definitely a Cthulhu thing. Right. Because that's where, like, he says it later on. And what he's referencing is the Dunwich Horror.
Okay.
Like, he has that little exposition where he says, like, yeah, rumor has it that there was a copy of the Necronomicon at Miskatonic University, but it was stolen back in the 1920s.
Okay.
And that's what they were talking about.
Okay.
Like, that's what happens in the Dunwich Horror, is the son of Yog-Sothoth goes and steals the Necronomicon from the university.
Right. Okay. See, I would have never known that.
Yeah.
Never.
It's things that, like, it's explained to you, so you don't really need to know it, but, like, if you do know it, you're like, the thing.
Yeah,
but then, they show Dunwich, and then they're chanting Yog-Sothoth, and I'm like, I wonder if this is Dunwich Horror. Because I could easily see, like, fans of Stuart Gordon, who made 2 movies based on H.P. Lovecraft lore, which are the next 2 movies that we're doing in this series. Okay. Which are Reanimator and From Beyond.
Okay.
And, like, I could easily see people who are fans of Stuart Gordon also being fans of Lovecraft.
Right.
You know?
Sure. Yeah.
So,
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And what I love about it, I love how that scene was, because I actually rewound it like twice.
Did you?
And I watched that scene 3 times because I was like, "There's no way that just happened." Where like he walks in and they say his last name, and I don't know if it's important to Cthulhu stuff either.
Right.
Which I don't remember what it was. I thought it was like Abernath or something.
Okay.
And I remember it being like, that's a weird last name.
Right.
Or a weird name. And then like he walks in and he's like, Herbert West stands up and he just goes, West.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, are they setting up for like, is Herbert West gonna fight the cultists?
Cool.
With an army of the undead? That might be cool, right?
I mean, I'd probably watch that.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Right.
But I assume like, if they did another movie, it would be like, it would just be Reanimator. And then because I want to say that scene is probably the one where he's being expelled.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
Because you've seen Reanimator.
Yeah, we watched
before.
that. Yeah.
So you know there's the scene where like he brings it in and is telling the professor about it, and the professor expels him for doing like illegal experiments or whatever.
Right.
And I assume that's what that would be.
I would imagine. Cool.
And then they tie that into like cultists and stuff. Oh man, that might be fun.
That'd be cool.
And that's why I was like so excited.
Right.
Where I was like, oh, this only came out in 2020, so it is possible they could do more.
Sure.
But who knows?
Right.
Yeah. I gotta say, I think Castle Freak is my least favorite Stuart Gordon movie we've watched so far.
Right. Yeah, it's not very good.
It's fine. Yeah. I haven't seen Pit and the Pendulum. We probably should have done that instead of The Dentist, but because it also has Jeffrey Combs. We could have had 4 Jeffrey Combs movies.
It's alright.
On this...
We have to differ it up just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, we were talking about continuing Reanimator.
Yeah.
Like, the next couple Reanimator movies.
Yeah.
After this, maybe after Reanimator we do Pit and the Pendulum.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows?
We just...
We'll just play it by ear.
Have a grand
maybe
old time.
Maybe it'll be cheap rent.
Maybe? Actually, it should definitely be cheap rent. We'll do cheap rent after.
It should. It honestly probably should.
Yeah. We'll do cheap rent.
Yeah, don't worry.
Right after we do what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's vote.
Oh yeah, on Generation Wars.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of the show, which I didn't explain at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that you're understanding this.
Yeah.
Since you've watched our videos by now.
Well, I hope.
I hope so.
We have like 300 of them.
No, we don't.
We have over 200.
B-views?
No.
Oh yeah, that's for Twitch.
That's just like on the YouTube.
Oh.
I know Savannah was like, "Why don't you just make a separate YouTube for
I know.
For the video game stuff?" And I'm like, "Well, because we didn't do that."
Right. I mean, we could. We could do Psycho Juicebox games.
Gaming, yeah, I guess so.
But in time.
I don't want to.
In time.
I don't want to do that separately.
All right, but explain Gen Wars.
All right, so we usually explain this at the top.
We were starting to rant. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Generation Wars is this really fun thing that we do where we decide whether a movie or its remake is better.
Yeah, and that's why it's called Gen Wars.
Yeah, because
it's different generations.
Different generations.
Yeah.
So we are going to decide which Castle Freak is better. Mike, which Castle Freak is better?
OG. 1995.
All right.
As it follows a better script, better plot. It's more concrete.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton.
Better acting.
Better acting. I mean, may not have the mythos of H.P. Lovecraft, but I think Stuart did as much as he could with $500,000 budget. Yeah. How about you, Johnny?
Well,
do I have to get a fucking coin?
I didn't dislike either of these movies, but one was definitely the clear winner.
Yeah.
And that's the original.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The original Castle Freak is the better film.
Yeah. Not even a question.
I have to say the bad acting.
Oh, it was. I'm not. It is so bad.
Really tore it down, and the original film has better characters.
It does.
Like the characters they do more.
They're likable. You want to like them.
They have arcs.
Yes.
Like they're actually written as characters.
Yes.
And you know who isn't written as a character?
The Professor.
Chuck. At least I guess.
Oh yes.
I guess Professor has kind of a character arc.
Kind of. But we really don't know, because we don't know
Rebecca
him.
has a bit of a character arc, but her character arc is, fuck everybody, I'm going to end the world.
Right.
So if your character arc turns out to be everyone is an asshole, I now hate everybody.
Right. And that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's not a good character arc.
Right.
Sorry, folks.
It's just not a good movie.
Actually, no, I feel like almost everyone would agree with me on this. Like, the original is better.
It is much better.
Most of the time it is. I'm not sure if we've ever had... I don't know if we've ever had B-views where...
A Gen War?
Or a Gen War where the original didn't win yet. I could be wrong. The only one I can think of maybe was It.
Well, I picked the original It.
I don't remember what I picked.
I think you picked the original It too.
Huh.
Yeah, because I picked the original Shining, and then I won by coin.
I mean, No.
So the series?
And I think the series ended up winning.
Did it?
I think so.
Yeah, because last Halloween season we did 2 Gen Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever do that again.
I will never do that again.
I love Gen Wars as a show.
It takes a lot of work.
Oh, man. Well,
not only that, but you have a series, a mini-series, which is 6 hours.
It's one of the reasons we've been putting off the Ring one.
Yes.
Because there are...
That takes
not only 1, 2 mini-series involved in it.
I mean, honestly, by our schedule, you work nights, I work days, so the only time we can really do it is, I mean, now you're a married man, so,
yeah.
I mean, maybe once a weekend. So that'll take months, if not years, to do the whole Ring thing. It will. I mean, that's a long time. That's how many movies?
We should probably at least start watching the Ring series.
I know, but then we have to film on it.
Well, not immediately. We can just take good notes.
I know.
We can maybe one weekend.
I mean, you have to get a better notebook, but.
Nah.
I mean, you're gonna lose your place. You're gonna wonder, where am I?
I just. Eventually we'll fill up all of the rest of the pages
and finally get a new notebook.
I don't need a new one. Look at.
I know, but so let's finish up here.
This much is filled.
Yeah, but let's finish up here. So,
all right.
Obviously, the better film and the more enjoyable watch is the original. I mean, you like the mythos that I completely didn't understand.
I thought it was neat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a good movie because of that.
Yeah.
But I would say that's the most redeemable part of the movie. And when you say like, oh yeah, the 100-year-old mythos that they've put into this movie, shoehorned into this movie, is the best part of it.
And that is the best part, which is sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even you, you said, oh yeah, that's a statue of Cthulhu that she knocks over. And you looked that up, right?
Oh yeah, that was on IMDb.
That was on IMDb? Yeah. I immediately was like, oh, that's a Cthulhu statue. Oh no, she knocked over the Cthulhu statue.
I would not have understood that.
Yeah, Cthulhu is like a big dude with an octopus face.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it with Metallica, but
he's the prophet.
Oh, okay.
The prophet of Azathoth.
Sure.
Or something.
Sure. Anyways, watch the OG Castle Freak.
Yeah. He lives in a city under the sea.
Oh.
Called Relay.
This reminds me of SpongeBob. Pineapple under the sea.
Alright, well we should probably go. It's been over an hour.
It's okay.
So,
thank you for watching.
Thanks guys.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Tune in next week for From Beyond for more weird sex things.
Video stuff up here.
Yeah, we
have up there.
B-views or this is the most recent, I think.
Okay.
Maybe. Or the one that's recommended for people. This one is always B-views, like the edited ones, and then this one is whatever we're doing.
Okay.
And then this is subscribe. You can click on this button to subscribe.
Please do. We put a lot of work into this.
Or I should probably be like, this button. So
like,
it's the one covering
comment.
me. Like,
all of them.
comment.
All of them.
Alright.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Have a good Halloween season.
Alexa, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
3, 2, 1.